young people are engaging with topics of race, ethnicity, and identity on a daily basis in school and out of school. I really focus on trying to understand how adolescents develop an understanding of themselves with respect to race and ethnicity. When we go into classrooms, we see that educators are having to manage race-related incidents on a regular basis. And I got to a point in my career where I felt like, I think we have seen enough in these many empirical studies that the more young people are engaging in this process to learn about who they are with respect to race and ethnicity, the better off they are. We see that they have fewer depressive symptoms, they have higher self-esteem. And so I started asking the question, can we intervene? Can we actually intervene in what we think is a normative part of development? One of the things that I really emphasize is that it's not so much about feeling positively about your group membership. What really seems to matter is that young people are engaging in the developmental process to find out more about who they are. That is what seems to protect them when they're experiencing ethno-racial-based threats or forms of marginalization based on this particular social identity. They are engaging from a place of strength and confidence rather than insecurity. And most importantly, are able then to attribute these experiences of marginalization not to something personal, right? Not to some sort of flaw or a defect within them. You're still going to experience that push. We are all going to experience marginalization at one point or another, right? The difference, though, is that we have resources with which to process marginalization in a way that helps us really better cope with that experience. And that is based on increasingly exploring who you are with respect to race and ethnicity. Gaining a greater sense of clarity about that is where I think we really see the psychosocial benefits that come for young people. And so that's really what led to the development of the Identity Project. So one of the things that's really exciting about the developmental period of adolescence is that we see a lot of social and cognitive changes taking place. These changes in the brain lead to increased ability to think abstractly, increased ability to think about thinking. Having that increased cognitive maturity really enables young people to understand in a much deeper way experiences that they might have related to race and ethnicity in other contexts and settings. But then also really taking it one step further to really think about how ethnic and racial identity development can actually support young people and promote their positive adjustment. We measure adjustment in many different ways. We measure it with indices of academic adjustment. So, do you demonstrate high levels of academic motivation? Are you attending school? We also think about adjustment in terms of psychological adjustment. We look at symptoms of anxiety. We also look at more general indices of well-being, like an individual's self-esteem. And all of these factors are helping us to get a sense of what we might call as a meta-construct adjustment. The ways in which they are adjusting during this period of adolescence can inform the decisions that they are making with respect to education after high school, with respect to career options. It can also impact their engagement in relationships. We have to really worry about young people who do have experiences of marginalization becoming invisible. That individual with a less developed ethnic racial identity may then internalize those experiences. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I'm just not good enough. Most of us have not been socialized to have conversations about race, ethnicity, and identity. In fact, most of us have grown up thinking that race is a taboo topic. It's something that we should not notice. This is something that is uncomfortable to talk about. Then there's no opportunity for reflection on these topics. When I'm asked this question, how can we actually support young people in developing their ethnic racial identity? The answer is quite simple, because oftentimes what's really needed is just the opportunity to make young people feel like they can have these conversations. It's okay to ask questions, and just engaging in that process of reflection can actually be very productive for a person's development. That's what our work shows, is that young people really just want to understand why they're seeing the things that they're seeing, right, out in the world, why they might be seeing certain experiences in the media. So we have to do more to prepare our educators to engage in this work with young people in a way that promotes ethnic and racial identity. We have seen some really promising results demonstrating that, particularly when educators are trained to engage with young people on these topics, we see tremendous positive effects on students' ethnic racial identity development. And I think that this can ultimately change our classroom communities and, more broadly, our school communities. Let's invest in our students and let's invest in our educators. And I think that we will see tremendous benefits for our society as a whole if we make these important investments.